Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in
the Everything That Rocks A to Z for a moment, because we are joined in the studio by a legend. Head coach Don Shula, former coach of the Miami Dolphins, the winningest coach in NFL history and the newest restaurateur here in the Triangle. We're at the 347 Grill last night. Coach, first of all, congratulations on the new place. It is just beautiful.
Yeah, I really had enjoyed being there. You know, my son Dave's been up here working, getting everything ready to go. And that was my first time in a restaurant. So I enjoyed it with my wife, Mary Ann, and we sat down and had a great evening, met a lot of nice people.
Now at the NFL, and unfortunately the big headline right now is what has gone on with Plaxico Burress and with the accidental shooting. Last year you had, you know, everything that went on with both Pac-Man Jones and Michael Vick. Do you look back now and think, not that you couldn't deal with these guys today, but do you look back now and think, man, I didn't have problems like this. I don't know even how to begin thinking about dealing with this kind of stuff.
Well, you know, it's stuff that you got to keep a handle on because it's so important to try to do everything the right way. And if you get one bad apple,
right,
you know, you want to make sure that it doesn't affect the rest of your football team. And you got to move on. You got to just cut the cord, and move on, and you hate to hear or see things like this happening in the National Football League because so many young people look up to these players as role models, and most of them, you know, 99% of them realize their importance of being role models and do a good job. But you know, the one that isn't gets all the publicity. Right. They're the headline. There's Plaxico Burress out there being handcuffed, taken to jail, and you know, you hate to see that.
Now, Coach, was it also the possibility of the times back then, like, and things like this, not necessarily shooting yourself in the leg in a nightclub, but I think that would make news. But back in the in a different era, before there was so much media coverage and so much eyes on all the time, especially, you know, now there's a network dedicated to the NFL. Do you think these things happen? It's just they just didn't get out more often. There was a different code for journalists then. Or?
Yeah, I think there's so much more temptation out there now. You know, the media wants to know what's going on in your huddle and your meetings and your private life, and that's brought to light more than it was in the early days. But you know, we still had problems back when I was coaching, and I coached for 33 years in the NFL as a head coach. So there were some times where
Salt, he may or may not have been the best coach ever.
I don't think that's really a debate right there.
That's true.
A number like 347, that's pretty amazing.
That's true. You know, did you ever stop and think about that number? I mean,
we looked at it the other day. Nobody's touching that number.
Yeah,
nobody's
I don't know.
even coming close.
Is there any chance they're going to dig up George Hallison? He might get a couple more wins anytime soon.
No, I think he's long gone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't have I know the NBA, it's debatable, but for my money, Red Auerbach, the greatest basketball coach in NBA history, no longer with us. Certainly, you know, the manager, one of the best managers in baseball history, Casey Stengel, no longer with us. You are sort of the last, you know, you're the only living guy that we can look at and say, top of his sport.
You know, and I did coach for 33 years, and I've been retired now for 10 or 12 years. Let's see, 1995 was my last year of coaching.
Wow,
and, you know, I could have hung on for a couple more years.
Actually, I think the Dolphins would have wanted you back for a couple of those years.
Not last year. I think they got it turned around down there now. They look like they're headed the right direction. Chad Pennington's doing a great job.
Obviously, last year you guys are sitting there and you're watching the New England Patriots do what they almost did. I mean, they almost also attained perfection. Came as close as anyone ever has and maybe ever will. But was it exciting to watch? Were you rooting for them, or was there a part of you that obviously there has to be a part of you that wants to be the only team to ever have gone undefeated?
I think anybody that has any record of any type, you know, is very proud of that record and doesn't want that. They're not rooting for that record to be broken.
Right.
Joe DiMaggio on his 56-game winning streak, I'm sure wasn't, you know, rooting for somebody to break that record. But if and when somebody breaks the record, you know, I'm going to be the first guy to call that coach and congratulate them. And our players will call their players and congratulate them because they know how tough it is to do. Nobody had done it in the, 50 years before we did it, and nobody's done it in the 35 years since we've done it. So that tells you a little bit about how tough it is. In New England, you know, 18-0, they were right there. And we were there in the Super Bowl, my wife and I, and we did high-five and toast each other when it was over with.
Was it a little more painful or a little bit tougher to watch with what the Dolphins were going through last year at 1-15?
Yeah, it was, because the Dolphins, it's just that everything that could go wrong went wrong with that football
Right.
team. And you just, the Dolphin fans that have been so great in all the years that I coached had to suffer through that season.
Yeah.
And it could have been 0-16. It was this
that
far,
close, yeah.
It was that far from
Were you
being
rooting
zero.
the same way you were rooting for the Patriots to lose? Were you rooting for the just win one, please, just win one?
You know, I got to tell you, as a Buccaneers fan, I'm happy to see that our perfection record was not broken by the Dolphins last year of a winless season.
Yeah, they were the first, I guess, or the only one.
The only one so far.
But,
But you know, fingers crossed.
that was
Detroit
John
might be there with
McKay.
us. Yeah.
And you know, the famous story about John McKay, after the first game that he coached, they got beat real bad. He'd been a great college coach at Southern Cal. And he goes into his press conference after the game, and the first thing that was said to him was, Coach, tell us about your team's execution. He said, I'm in favor of it.
Joining us here on 96 Rock Mornings, Don Shula, the all-time winningest football coach in NFL history. And Coach, we have a question to ask you, and it deals with Grill 347.
The new restaurant at the Chapel Hill Sheraton.
I think we know all of his passwords. I mean,
Yeah.
because I would put 347 as my password to everything on my computer.
That is true. I will
If that was
say
my
this.
record,
I was introduced to the 347 steak sauce yesterday. I was introduced to the 347 selection of wine. I think there's a good chance we know his PIN number now.
Now, Coach, we've been trying to do something here. We just recently started it. We've been in the Triangle for 3 years now, and we wanted to try and put our stamp on the area. We both put quotes up on local bars on their walls. Sometimes
Bathroom
they
walls, they
ask
don't know
us
about
to.
it.
Yeah, they don't know it. We just write on there. We have our pictures around town at some other restaurants, but we wanted something to really make our mark. You know, Salt and Dimitri the Greek from 96 Rock. We really wanted to make our mark.
We know you have a new restaurant, and we were wondering if perhaps we could have a sandwich named after us.
Let's see now. You probably would argue about what name is first on the sandwich. You know, you'd want your name to be first on the sandwich. You'd want your name
Sure.
to lead off. So you got to fight that out between the two of you.
Well,
I do.
he's scared of me, so
Well,
I think I'll win.
But Salt, Coach does bring up a good point that, I mean, clearly I'm the one that's going to enjoy the sandwich.
Yeah, I'll be able to enjoy more sandwiches because your longevity.
Good point.
You're not going to be with us long, B.
I saw him operate last night. I think he's going to win the battle.
Actually, D, I tell you what, we had a chicken nugget eating contest.
That's true.
Who won?
You did.
He beat you. He beat you
Yeah,
eating.
He did. He killed me. He slaughtered me.
I just can't.
Coach, don't let his small frame fool you. The man can pack away food.
Afterwards, I just run. But Coach, if you think about it, if you and your sons can sit down and say, you know what, do we have room on our menu for a Salt and Dimitri item?
I don't know if we do have room.
All right, well, we put it out there.
Well, it's time to go to our safety school.
Coach Don Shula, Grill 347 open now. They are opening tonight, the grand opening tonight in the Chapel Hill Sheraton. And here's the best part tonight. You guys are doing something for one of our favorite charities, the North Carolina Children's Hospital, as well.
Yeah, we try to, when we open, we try to help out a local charity, and we're very proud to help this. I know this is a very worthwhile charity here at Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, congratulations on the new restaurant, and we wish you and your son Dave all the success in the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by. The winningest head coach. Wow, there's just an air of
I know, of
championship here in the studio right now. I feel like a winner.